Okay, hello everybody. Not sure how many of you are here with me because I'm not seeing anything. Um, but this is Tara Moats. So glad to be here with you guys. Um, Hope to have lots of people with me so that you can ask me some questions. If you've read my book, I would love some reviews from you. That would be fantastic. Um, and so just looking to see who's able to join me so far. I will give a shout out and let you all know who's joined me. Um, anyway, let me go ahead and say thank you so much for those of you who have already bought my book or reading my book on Kindle. Um, it is available at Amazon.com. It's called The Beginning by Tara Moats. Um, it's a very endearing book to me. It took a lot of time and effort in order to um, do the book. So I just hope that everybody enjoys it. So what I would like to do is I would like to um, read a little bit of my book for you. Hopefully you will get some enjoyment out of it. I will keep watching to see if there's any posts for any questions or comments. Let you know. Um, oh, Amber Moats, hello. Thank you for joining me. Awesome, awesome. So, Chapter 1, What About Me? As I stand here looking in the mirror, I feel so lonely today. I feel like I should be able to pick up the phone and call her. I feel like this has all been one bad dream that I can't wake up from. I feel as though my world has shrunk into just my home, that nothing else exists outside of the home. I am so alone now, the loneliness that settles in like a cold breeze chilling you to your very bones. Last year I received a phone call from Bill, the husband of my best friend Cassie, that Cassie had been hit by a car while crossing the street on her way to meet Bill for lunch. One second, she is full of life and crossing the street. The next, she is being mowed down by a stolen car running from the police. It was all too much. How could this be? I felt responsible as I had a dream about this happening for months, waking up drenched in sweat and shaking at the thought of losing Cassie, telling myself it was just a dream, just a damn dream. I did not warn her, I just ignored it. I felt such guilt and shame. Her injuries were just as I had dreamed. Her spleen and her liver ruptured, multiple broken bones, and severe head injury. She had died within minutes of impact. My only solace was that she did not have to suffer. Suffers more than anyone should have to endure. Like the suffering her husband and two small children still have to endure with her gone. I see them, the kids and Bill. I take them to the park and out to eat when I can drag myself out to be around people, which is getting harder and harder these days. I feel a dread come over me and then fear grip my heart. My breath catches in my throat, and I am forced to stop at the door and go back inside my house, my hell, my sanctuary. I am not sure when it happened or how I became that way. I was not a complete shut-in, but pretty damn close. I know it is not just because of Cassie, but here I am, barely able to leave my house at times due to the anxiety that fills me, a dread that paralyzes every part of me. I do not know how Bill and the kids are able to carry on. He gets up and goes to work every day, the kids to school. Most days he seems fine. Other days, when you look in his eyes, you can tell that he has been crying for hours from the look of him. I guess we all just have to continue on the end of our journey with or without someone beside us. Oh, Cassie, how I miss you. We had been friends since middle school. She was my best friend and had been for years. Over the years, we had shared everything that sisters would have shared. The birth of her kids, me coming out, and everything in between. Now she was gone, Just a vault full of memories in my mind that made my heart ache every time I pulled a memory out. I missed everything about her. Her dark hair and brown eyes, her dry humor and amazing wit. I missed the way she always knew when something was bothering me, and even though I would insist there was nothing wrong, she brought the sunshine into an otherwise dreary day, and I loved her so much, my friend. Your life was cut short way too soon. Stop, stop this wallowing, Cassie would have said. She never would have wanted this. Life is to be lived, she would have said, so go on and live it. I have to keep reminding myself, otherwise I would sink into the abyss of loss forever, to be alone and lonely without human contact. Hey, Amanda Feehan, thanks for joining us. A shout out. I don't see the other, looks like there's 5 other people on here with us. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to continue the read. Please, if you have any questions, don't hesitate. I'll keep looking and see if there's any questions or any comments. Feel free to share. Looking back into the mirror, I can see the tears running down my face. As I wipe them away, I think to myself, when does it get easier? I look down at the sink, barely focusing, and see a bottle of cologne. I remember that smell like it was yesterday, sporty and slightly musky. That I knew it did not belong to me. It was hers, my ex. Great. Now I get to change my focus from one disaster to another. Drowning in my own misery, I allowed my mind to think about the last relationship I was in. I had always allowed that misery to ruin a relationship that was already on shaky ground. Truth be told, it was just an excuse to be done with it. It has been a few months since I ended my last relationship, and I was hoping it would get easier. Thinking back, I do not see what we ever saw in each other than sex. Why would I choose someone arrogant, judgmental, and egotistical? What does anyone ever see in another that sparks an attraction? A look, a smile, or a shared moment. To have nothing in common but still find each other. Why is it that some people can make this connection work for years and others for only the briefest of moments? Thinking back over the past couple of years, I cannot see where we were destined for anything other than a breakup. I wanted so much to believe that we would make it. A hopeless romantic, that's me, or at least it was. Was I looking for something that I wanted to exist, but that did not? I really hate these moments when my reflection on past events turns into moments of depression and sadness. Looking at myself in the mirror, I wondered to myself, what is wrong with me? Anxiety, depression, and sadness? A huge sigh escapes. I am a well-educated woman. I have a master's degree behind me and continuing with graduate school, but to what end? I am not sure yet. Taking online classes has been challenging for someone who procrastinates with the simplest of tasks. My work is my haven, the place that centers me. I have allowed my work to take over most of my waking hours. Between that and school, reflection takes up only a small place in my world anymore. So how is it that days like this are still possible? I am so tired. I am tired of being both alone and lonely. I am tired of trying to make a relationship work, tired of balancing the give and take in a relationship with someone who only takes and hardly ever gives of herself. I am tired of this one-sided roller coaster ride in which the other person takes what she needs, then moves on and never looks back at the devastation left in her wake. I am just tired. For the past several weeks, I have become something of a shut-in. If I do not go out, then I cannot get hurt, right? I do not want to be vulnerable to someone who can turn my world upside down again. On one hand, I long for the closeness and companionship of another loving soul. However, on the other hand, I want to save myself the misery of what is to come next. The end. Be it the end of life or the end of a relationship. Just the end. Some would say I am too young to be feeling this way, but I feel as if my soul has been around for a long time. If I believed in reincarnation, I would say that I must have lived a dozen lives, each life more devoid of love than the last. Whatever lesson I was to have learned to progress into a better next life must have been lost on me, for I feel my torment is centuries old. So here I am, looking at my image in the mirror, feeling weary and run down. In a few more days I need to psych myself up for a trip back home. I do not necessarily like the trip itself, but once I am there, it is generally a good thing. I have some good memories there with my family. Although they can be a little strange, they are my family and they do love me. I am not always the nicest person. Sometimes I am damn hard to deal with. I can be arrogant, assertive, even aggressive should I feel the need to be, and even a little bossy. Nevertheless, to my family, blood is blood, and for that, forgiveness is never far behind. Enough of this. Now it is time to get ready for work, one of the few occasions that I must actually go into the office. I have grown accustomed to working from home and becoming able to set my own work hours. My boss is very flexible. As long as I log in 40 hours a week, she is good with it. We have a special computer program that logs my hours for me. I work generally more than 40 hours a week, so my boss doesn't mind. Today is a special day. We are going nationwide with an online utilization review network. Until today, only a handful of hospitals were participants. Now every hospital that is using computer charting can be reviewed online. Unfortunately, everyone involved in the company is required to be at the kickoff of the Go Live national campaign, which includes me. I really do hate large crowds, and this event promises to be a three-ring circus. I might just as well bite the bullet and get ready to go. I hate that drive into work. I hate it almost as much as having to actually be at work. As I climb into my car, my mind begins to wander. I find myself thinking of the past again. Just stop it, damn it. I scream into the rearview mirror. At that moment, a Mercedes almost runs me off the road. Watch where you're going, dumbass! I screamed. Doesn't anyone know how to drive anymore? What the hell? I know the dumbass did not hear me, but at least I feel better for having said it. It is a shame that you can't go a mile without someone speeding, cutting you off, or almost running you over. I try to calm myself down by thinking of something else, my trip back home. It will be so nice to go back home. Things are so much slower there. People do not seem to be in as much of a hurry. I miss that. People there still do not know how to drive, but most of them are the damn tourists anyway. Hey, a shout out to Carol. Hey, Carol, glad you could join us. So that's where I am so far in my book, as far as reading. What I would like to do is give you guys an opportunity to ask any questions that you might have. Once again, thank you for being here with me. Like I said, if you've read my book, please give me some reviews. I would like to do this live at least once a week, maybe do some reading or have some other questions, things of that nature going on. I see that I've got a few of you that have joined me. Thank you very much. I do so appreciate you for taking the time to be here with me today. I know that it said that it was going to go on for quite a while longer, and if it's okay with you guys, I'm going to go ahead and read a little bit more of the book. If you have a question or a remark, please don't hesitate to make it, and I'll keep looking for those. Okay? So in this part of the book, Manny's doing a little cussing, and I just put some nice little swear word characters in there. So I'll continue from there. Manny continued to rant for a few... oh, sorry. Started in the wrong place. Okay, so, well, here I am. I am so glad I have a parking space with my name on it. Otherwise, I would never find a place to park around here. Okay, once again, time to bite the bullet and go inside. Corrine, damn it, Corrine, I told you, no interviews prior to the go live time. Manny yelled from across the room as she looked into her office to find two well-dressed reporters waiting for an interview. Some things never changed around here, I thought to myself. Manny is always screeching at someone, but always with good cause. At least she thinks so. I know they are just waiting in your office, boss. I told them no interviews until afterwards, Corrine stated apologetically. I wasn't sure where else to put them. I know you don't want them in the conference room until you are sure all glitches are worked out, right? Well, duh, that doesn't take a damn brain surgeon to figure out that now. Get them out of my office, put them in the break room or one of the small conference rooms. Manny continued to rant for a few more minutes until the reporters were actually walking out of her office. Then, with her best award-winning smile, ushered them through. How lovely of you to join us today. It will be a while longer. However, Miss Cologne will be glad to get you whatever you need. Drinks, food, a bathroom maybe. Manny always knew how to break the ice. Miss Walden, if I may ask you one question, the taller of the two reporters spoke up, looking confused. Of course, Manny said, shooting a dirty look at Corrine. What time will the kickoff be? And how long do you anticipate before we can start our interview? The taller man questioned. I could tell he caught Manny off guard. Rarely did anyone ever catch Manny off guard. Well, that is two questions, but since you asked so nicely, the kickoff starts in 10 minutes and should be no longer than 30 to 45 minutes, barring any unforeseen complications. Manny was back on her game and always quick to recover. I loved to watch her toy with her prey, and I could tell he would soon be her prey. I could not help laughing to myself, for Manny would be well suited with this one. Something about him told me she was going to have her hands full with this one. What was the strange sensation I felt down my back? My granny would have said, "Somebody just walked over your grave, child." That is what she would say if she was still alive. What does that mean anyway? How can someone walk over your grave if you're still alive? I feel a strange coldness in the air, chilling me to the very core of my being. What is causing me to feel this way? Something is not right. I cannot put my finger on it, but the feeling will not go away. For now, I will put it out of my mind. There is too much riding on this project. I have earned stock in this company and have vested interest in its well-being. At this point, failure is not an option. I cannot shake the feeling that something big is going to happen. At least the feeling is not associated with work. But what? Okay, everyone, let's get this party started. Jules always did have a way with words. And another 10, 9, 8, 7. As the countdown continued, I found it hard to keep my mind from wandering back to that weird feeling. However, now I felt as if I was being watched. "Stop it!" I screamed in my head. "We are live," Jules announced. Everyone stood still and quiet for what seemed like an eternity, waiting, waiting. Finally, our first set of West Coast servers came online, and with it over 1,000 hospitals. Next, the Midwest hospitals came online, another 1,500. The national map continued to light up as each section came online, and with it data poured in. Finally, the last state lit up, and sighs of relief swept across the room, and everyone started cheering. The magnitude of what just occurred was sinking in. After months of hard work and planning, we were finally done with this portion of the project. I know there will be bugs or kinks, whatever, to be worked out. That, however, is the easy part compared to what we have accomplished over the last few months. For the first time in weeks, I felt true happiness again. This was my baby as much as it was anyone else's. I was immensely proud to have been a part of it. Also, for the first time in weeks, the misery of another failed relationship was nowhere in sight. My head was swimming, and I felt a little off balance. All I could think of was all the hours of work we had put into making this happen. I am so proud of these people and myself. I have worked with many types of people over the years, but none as committed as we have been. How many did not, sorry, how many people would go a whole month without pay to make sure we stayed on budget? How many people would have continued to work 40 to 60 plus hours a week? These people are my second family, all of which I love and respect. Cannot spend cannot stand spending too much time with any of them, but like I said, my second family. All at once I felt arms around me. Manny was congratulating me, and I her on a job well done. I told you there was nothing to worry about now. Let us get the interviews over with so we can all celebrate. Manny was all smiles. One smile from Manny could bring any man to his knees. That reporter was in big trouble, and we both knew it. My portion of the job being done, I was free to return to my solitude. I was not much of one for celebrating these days. Besides, if I didn't hurry and escape, it would be too late. I grabbed my things off the desk and headed for the nearest exit. I could hear someone calling my name in the background. I dare not stop, as I was only just a few more feet from freedom. Pushing open the exit door, the sun blared through, and I rushed out the door. Yes! I practically screamed. I made it without being stopped. Rushing to my car, I shoved all my stuff in through the driver's side door as I climbed in, pulling the car door shut behind me. Slowly and methodically pulling out of my parking space, I continued to forge my way to freedom. It really was a beautiful day. The sun was shining, but the temperature was cool with a slight breeze blowing. My cell started ringing almost immediately. I did not want to answer it, though. Manny would be so pissed that I did not stay for the celebration, but she would understand. I could not be around all those people. I have tried meditation and medication. Nothing seemed to help these days. I just want to be left alone. Alone. Did I actually think that? Well, you really cannot get more alone than I am. Alone in my own head. Now that is a scary thought. All right, so that is the end of what I'm going to read for you today. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you were able to come into the story and get a feel for what was going on inside of um, Ashley's head. So I have one question. So what made you want to write a vampire story? Um, I've always been fascinated with vampires. I love all of the variations of the vampire movies and books, and just the stories that are out there. Um, they're very romantic. They're very dark, scary at times, depending on which genre you like to watch. It's just and very romantic at the same time. So I mean, you have so many different writers who have brought the world of the vampires to life, for me especially, and I think that that is just amazing, amazing. When you can read somebody's work and be pulled into the character and you can see them inside your head before you actually see it come out on the big screen, if it ever does. Um, Not all books get made into movies, but they all have relevance. Um, so Vampires was um, just the next step for me. I like that little bit of a dark side, but with a little bit of romance keyed in there. So, hope that answered your question. Anybody else have any other questions before I sign off for the day? I thank you so much for joining me. It has been a pleasure being able to share this time with you. And like I said, I'm going to try to make this at least a weekly, just to get out there and share a little bit more of my book with you. Um, if you haven't got my book yet, please take the time. Even if you go on Kindle, I think it's Kindle Unlimited. where you get the books free if you've joined the unlimited thing on Amazon. Take the time, read it. Um, and for those that don't know, I'm actually already writing the sequel to it. So good stuff happening out there. So thank you so much for joining me. Shout